Every day, millions of people go about their lives, blissfully unaware of the things that go bump in the night. But for some, those bumps and scrapes are all too real. It was an old house with old problems. Nothing ever got fixed around here. And there were definitely some things that went bump in the night. For instance, every night they'd hear the most unsettling creaks coming from directly above their bedroom. The couple would always console each other, whispering, "Don't worry, it's just the house settling. Just some rats up there." But then, one night it happened again. They heard the sound right above their bed, the distinct sound of footsteps shuffling around directly above their room. "Just rats," they said to each other. Then one morning after, the husband went into the attic to investigate. It was a dark, dusty place filled with cobwebs and old furniture. And as he searched, he began to find more and more peculiar things, like this old trunk. Curiosity got the better of him, so he creaked open the lid. Inside was a musty pile of clothes, a book with blank pages, and a small wooden box. He opened the box to find a stack of old photographs. As he flipped through them, he saw drawings of him and his wife. But these weren't recent drawings. These were from when they first moved into the house. One drawing in particular caught his eye. It was a picture of the house from the street. But something was different. There should have been 3 trees in the front yard, but in the drawing there was only one. And when he looked out the window, he noticed that all 3 of the trees were still there. But as he stared, it hit him. Those trees had all been planted after he and his wife had moved in. So who drew this? And why did they draw the house without the trees? But that wasn't the only strange thing he found. In the corner of the attic, he found an old mattress. It wasn't like any mattress he'd seen before. It was small and narrow, barely big enough for a child. And as he touched it, he felt a sharp pain in his finger. Startled, he pulled his hand back to see blood welling up on his finger. It was an old mattress, but it looked almost brand new. How could it still hurt him? As he stared at it, confused, he noticed something strange. The mattress wasn't actually nailed to the floor. Whoever put it here had simply folded the edges underneath it. Why would they do that? Was it hiding something? As he moved the mattress, he discovered a trap door hidden beneath it. His heart pounded in his chest as he slowly opened the trap door. It was dark and dank inside. He couldn't see anything, so he descended into the darkness. It smelled like mildew and decay. As he descended deeper, he began to hear voices, faint voices talking in hushed tones. Then he heard a voice say, "Careful now. Watch your step." He listened intently. "We need to hurry. I can feel it stirring." Then another voice said, "It won't be long now. Soon we'll have what we need to bring it back." Bring what back? What were they talking about? He continued to make his way down until his foot landed on something hard. He reached down to feel it, his fingers tracing the outline of a human skull. He recoiled in disgust, then reached out to touch it again. It was cold and hard. And then he noticed something strange. There was a small hole drilled into the top of the skull, a hole that looked exactly like a bottle cap. Suddenly, he remembered something his grandmother had told him about a witch who lived in the woods near their town. The townspeople had tried to stop her, but she used her magic to escape. They never found her body, but they did find the remains of some animals that had been used in her dark rituals. And one of the things they found was a jar filled with human teeth and a handwritten note. The witch kept the teeth of everyone she had ever killed. And the note read, "Soon I will return." Had this witch been living in his house all along? did she use the attic to store her things? And what did she mean when she said she would return? He wanted to get out of there. As he made his way back up the ladder, he could hear the scratching and clawing above him. Whatever it was getting closer. He climbed as fast as he could, bursting out of the attic door and slamming it behind him. He could hear the commotion in the attic growing louder, and he knew whatever was up there wanted out. But what was it? And how could he stop it? He ran to the bedroom to tell his wife what he'd found. But as he opened the door, he saw something that made him gasp. On the mattress where he'd found the trapdoor, there was now a large gash, as if something had been clawing at it to get out. And in the middle of the mattress was a single tooth. It was a human tooth, and it was unlike any tooth he'd ever seen. It was small and sharp, like the tooth of a rodent. But as he stared at it, he realized it wasn't a tooth at all. It was a fragment of a tooth. And as he picked it up, he saw that it had been drilled.